Okay guys, with version 2.8 releasing in China, we now know everything about Ulrich. We know what his insight does, we know exactly what his kit does, we know how his portraits look like, and we even know the psygroup that he will come with, so let's take a look at it. We want to take a look at his insight number 1 first, because yeah, that already explains a lot. Now if you read this might sound very complicated, but this is actually super simple. So let's read it and figure it out together real quick. You gain electric amplification when you enter battle, and you gain dynamo when you enter battle. Then at the start of the round you activate something called surging electric field. At the end of the round you gain dynamo and you funnel it into this electric field. At the end of the round you release peak voltage. Okay, let's figure this out step by step. What is peak voltage? Peak voltage, that is a mass attack that you use at the end of the round, each round. It deals reality damage to all enemies, and if Ulrich is channeling and possesses keys, which he will always, no matter what, always do, then it deals extra reality damage and you increase this attack's ultimate, right? That is what keys do. You always need keys, you will produce these keys passively and they increase everything that you do. Now, his main mechanic is this surging electric field. Very simple. You enter battle and this creates itself, you don't have to do anything. What it does is it consumes dynamo. All the dynamo that your entire team generates will be funneled into the surging electric field automatically. Once this electric field has a certain amount of dynamo funneled into it, it will level up. And once this electric field reaches level 3, it does the following. First of all, Ulrich gains a certain amount of moxie from it, and then his incantation number 1, his incantation number 2, and his ultimate. So basically everything that you do will always consume keys and mainly increase your damage output, but it can also increase other effects like damage taken reduction plus a certain amount of percent. You will see this later when we talk about his incantation, but very simple, right? You enter the field, you always, every single round you gain dynamo, right? Let's take a look at his insight 3 real quick. You can see this here as well. At the end of the round, each time dynamo is funneled by allies into this electric field this round, Ulrich gains keys and dynamo for all current channels. So you use your incantation number 1 and number 2, those are channels. That makes you produce keys and dynamos non-stop passively. These dynamos will get then absorbed by the field. Once this field reaches level 3, you gain a whole bunch of keys with everything that you do, and these keys increase the damage output. That's it. Like, all of this happens pretty much passively without you having to do anything. You just have to play with Ulrich. You use his incantations and his ultimate, and everything else that needs to happen just happens automatically. You don't have to worry about a single thing other than keeping the channels from your incantations active at all times, and that's it, right? Now let's move on and take a look at his incantations. His incantation number 1 is, of course, we already figured out, a channel, and what it does is it makes you gain a buff that is called structural analysis. And what this buff does is, at the start of the round, decrease damage taken reduction of all enemies. If keys are present, then you further decrease the damage taken reduction, so you make it so that your enemies take more damage. Easy. This channels for a few rounds, and if you would now happen to use this incantation again while the channel is still active, then you would not further decrease the damage taken reduction of all enemies, but instead you increase your team's ultimate might. That's about it. Incantation number 2 does the following. Also a channel, and you gain a buff called frequency analysis. Frequency analysis does, at the start of the round, increase ultimate might of all allies. and if keys are present, you increase the ultimate might of all allies more. That's it. If you would now happen to use this incantation again while the channel is still active, then you increase the ultimate might, right? And that's basically all there is. You increase ultimate might with this. You can also increase the ultimate might further with this. You spread this ceremonious buff, which is the ultimate might increase. And yeah, you make it so that your enemy's damage taken reduction is decreased. And that's all that Ulrich does. Like, remember, his damage comes from the extra attack that he does at the end of every single round. That's called peak voltage. We talked about it. Just a quick reminder here, in case you're wondering, like, hey, how does this guy actually deal damage? It is with peak voltage and with his ultimate. So let's check his ultimate out real quick. You gain a buff. This time it's called supercomputing analysis. You gain a dynamo, and that is funneled into the electric field. Easy as that. What does supercomputing analysis do? It does. At the end of the round, you deal reality damage to all enemies. This attack is considered an extra action, and if keys are present, you deal more damage. That's about it, right? Peak voltage does damage. His ultimate does damage. He decreases the damage taken reduction from all enemies. And that's really all that Ulrich does. Now, he's very, very AP friendly, because yeah, whenever you use one of his incantations, those channel for a few rounds. And you deal damage, you do everything passively. Like, you generate dynamo, you generate keys, you deal damage even passively because you do an attack at the end of every single round. You buff the damage that your allies do in terms of you increase their ultimate might. Your own ultimate will do huge amount of damage because yeah, you stack ceremonious on top, right? Multiple stacks of ceremonious, you will have that, and so your ultimate will deal a lot of damage. Very AP friendly and pretty much plays himself. You just, again, all you have to do is keep these channels active, so use them from time to time. And that's really all about Ulrich, right? Very simple, very straightforward, and very AP friendly, very easy to play, and quite a good character. But now let's take a look at his portraits and his Psycube real quick. And here are the effects of his portraits. So portrait number 1 makes it so that your incantation number 1 and incantation number 2 will deal more damage, as each key now will lead to these incantations do more damage. It's an increase to 5.5. So I don't have the exact numbers for the incantations, but it's around, it will be in the ballpark of a 2 to 2.5% damage increase here. Not too impressive. His portrait number 2, after you use your ultimate, yeah, it will deal 900% reality damage. This is also like his ultimate by default will do like 650% to 700%. So that is a pretty good increase in damage, but it is gonna be very, very slow, because yeah, remember, you're not gonna use a lot of incantations with Ulrich, right? You just use these incantations once, and then they will channel for a few rounds, and you want to refrain from using them again, so you will not generate too much Moxie. Although, remember, his insight generates Moxie for him passively. That will only happen once this surging field, this electric field, is level 3 though. So yeah, this is very, very slow. Also, his portrait 2 will not be too impressive, all things considered. Then we have portrait number 3, is when, yeah, this electric field again, when it is level 3, then each key deals extra 175% reality damage on his ultimate instead. So yeah, this is also gonna be just a few percentages added on top of his ultimate damage. Now, if you combine portrait number 2 and number 3, this is going to be a significant damage increase when it comes to how much damage his ultimate does. But again, his ultimate, it's pretty slow. You have to get that electric field to level 3 first, and you are not using a lot of incantations to begin with. So I'm not too impressed with these portraits by now. Portrait number 3 does, each key deals an extra 25% reality damage on his peak voltage. Now that is good, because you will use peak voltage every single round, right? At the end of every single turn, you will use this peak voltage from turn 1 onwards. That is incredible. 25% more reality damage on that extra attack at the end of the round. That's massive. That is a really, really good portrait. But that is portrait number 4. So hella expensive, right? But that's actually a crazy good portrait. And yeah, the combination of portrait number 2 and 3 is also not too bad. So yeah, I mean, if you would go for portraits for Ulrich, it's already safe to say you will have to go really deep there, and that's gonna be expensive. But Ulrich is free to play, so yeah, I leave that decision up to you. I would already deem it not worth it. Then his portrait 5, after you use his ultimate, you deal 1050% reality damage. Each key deals 145% extra reality damage. Okay, yeah. Yeah, portrait 4 is really where the value and where the big juice is. But the combination of portrait number 2, 3 and 5 will make his ultimate go completely ridiculously nuts. But that is very, very expensive. So I can already tell portraits for Ulrich, it won't be worth it considering the circumstances. Nah, so his portraits are skippable, right? Just keep him at P0, he will be completely fine. But now let's take a look real quick at his Psycube. Here it is. Sorry for the low quality, but it is what it is, right? I'm gonna read it to you anyway, so don't worry about it. If the user's afflatus is intellect, Ulrich is an intellect afflatus. After actively casting an incantation which Ulrich doesn't want to do too often, then attack is increased by a certain amount, and that can stack up to 3 times. At the end of the round, for each dynamo that is funneled into this electric field, you will increase your crit damage, and that can stack up to 16 times. So this is gonna be a Psycube more suited towards Lucy, actually. Ulrich will not like this one here too much. It's gonna be better for Lucy, that is 100% guaranteed. So there you go. I mean, that was everything about Ulrich, right? This is not a how to play Ulrich or whatever, right? But yeah, we take a look at his kit, at his insight, his Psycube, and portraits, and yeah, some information here is already like really crystal clear. And that was all about it, guys. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day. Don't forget to leave a follow, join the Discord, and we love this game.